The rain fell hard on the metal roof of the small apartment. Lee Dae-ho sat next to his sister's bed, watching her sleep. So-min looked so small and weak under the thin blanket. Her face was pale, and dark circles ringed her eyes. She was only 19, but the sickness made her look much older. Dae-ho held a datapad in his hands. The medical report glowed on the screen. He had read it 20 times, but the words never changed. The numbers never got smaller. 50 million credits. That was the cost to save his sister's life. Big brother. So-min's voice was soft and tired. She opened her eyes and looked at him. "I'm here," Dae-ho said. He put the datapad away quickly. "How do you feel? Like I got hit by a truck?" She tried to smile, but it looked painful. "What were you reading?" "Nothing important." Dae-ho stood up and walked to the small window. Outside, the city of Neo-Seoul stretched out below them, tall. Buildings reached up into the gray sky. Flying cars moved between them like tiny insects. Most people in the city had good jobs and nice homes. But down here in the lower levels, life was hard. "You're a bad liar," So-min said. "I know it's about my treatment. How much does it cost?" Dae-ho turned back to her. His sister was smart. She always had been. Even when they were kids, she could see through his lies. "Too much," he said. "Tell me the real number." Dae-ho sat back down. 50 million credits. So-min was quiet for a long time. Then she laughed. But it was not a happy sound. "That's impossible. No one has that kind of money." "I'll find a way," Dae-ho said. "I promise." "How?" "You work at the factory for 12 hours a day. You make maybe 3,000 credits a month. It would take you 1,000 years to save that much money." Dae-ho didn't have an answer. She was right. The math was simple and cruel. He made good money for someone who lived in the lower city, but it wasn't enough. It would never be enough. The door to their apartment opened. Park Jin-woo walked in without knocking. He was Dae-ho's best friend. They had been soldiers together. Before the war ended, now Jin-woo worked at the same factory. "Hey," Jin-woo said. He looked at So-min. "How are you feeling today?" "Like I'm dying," So-min said. "Which I am." "Don't talk like that," Dae-ho said quickly. Jin-woo sat down in the only chair in the room. "I heard about the cost of the treatment." "I'm sorry, man. We'll figure something out," Dae-ho said. "Like what?" "Rob a bank. Win the lottery." Jin-woo shook his head. "There's no legal way to get that much money. Not for people like us." "Then maybe I need to think about illegal ways," Dae-ho said. Both Jin-woo and So-min looked at him with surprise. "You can't be serious," So-min said. "I am." Dae-ho stood up and walked to the small kitchen. He opened a bottle of cheap beer and took a long drink. "I heard about something today. At work, one of the guys was talking about it." "About what?" Jin-woo asked. "A fighting tournament. Off-world. The prize money is huge." Jin-woo stood up fast. "No, absolutely not. Those tournaments are death traps. You know that." "What tournament?" So-min asked. Dae-ho looked at his sister. He didn't want to tell her, but she deserved to know the truth. "It's called the Crimson Arena. It happens on a space station called Nexus 7. Different alien species send fighters. They fight until only one is left alive. And you want to do this?" So-min's voice was full of fear. "The prize is 100 million credits," Dae-ho said, "plus some kind of alien artifact. That's enough to pay for your treatment and set us up for life." "It's also enough to get you killed," Jin-woo said. "These aren't human fighters, Dae-ho. We're talking about aliens. Some of them are twice our size. Some of them have natural weapons, claws, poison, armor. What do you have? Your fists and your brain. That's all I need." "This is crazy," So-min said. "I won't let you do this for me." "You don't get to decide," Daeho said. His voice was harder now. You're my sister. I promised Mom and Dad I would take care of you. It's what I'm going to do. The room went quiet. Their parents had died in the war 3 years ago. A bombing run had hit their apartment building. Daeho and Somin had been the only survivors. Since then, they had only had each other. How do you even know about this tournament? Jinwoo asked. Chang. At the factory, his cousin works on one of the transport ships. He's seen the fighters going to Nexus 7. Says the tournament happens every 6 months. The next one is in 2 weeks. And you think you can just show up and fight? I need to get there first. That costs money too. About 10,000 credits for transport and registration. Jinwoo laughed, but it was not funny. So you need 10,000 credits to maybe win 100 million credits. Where are you going to get 10,000 credits? Daeho walked to the bedroom closet. He opened it and pulled out a metal box. Inside were a few small items. A watch that had belonged to his father. A ring that had belonged to his mother. Some military medals from his time in the service. I'll sell these, he said. No, Somin said. She tried to sit up in bed. Those are all we have left of them. They're dead, Daeho said. You're alive. That's more important. Somin started to cry. I don't want you to do this. Please, let me die. At least then I'll still have my brother. Daeho sat on the bed next to her. He put his arms around her. I'm not going to let you die. Not if I can help it. The odds are terrible, Jinwoo said. You know that, right? Most fighters don't survive the first round. Then I'll be different. I'll be smarter. I'll find a way to win. How? You haven't fought in 3 years, not since the war ended. I still train, every day. You know that? It was true. Every morning before work, Daeho went to an old gym in the lower city. He practiced martial arts, lifted weights, and ran on the treadmill. It helped him deal with the stress of his life. But fighting in a gym was very different from fighting for your life. This isn't just about fighting, Jinwoo said. You need to understand the politics. The different alien species have different rules, different ways of fighting. If you know nothing about any of that, then I'll learn fast. Jinwoo looked at Somin. She was still crying, but she had stopped trying to talk Daeho out of it. She knew her brother too well. When he made up his mind about something, nothing could change it. If you're really going to do this, Jinwoo said, you'll need help. I can't let you go alone. No, Daeho said. This is my responsibility, and you're my friend. We've been through worse things together. Daeho looked at Jinwoo. They had been soldiers together for 4 years. They had fought side by side in battles that most people couldn't imagine. Jinwoo had saved his life more than once. I can't ask you to do this, Daeho said. You're not asking, I'm volunteering. The next morning, Daeho sold everything of value they owned. The watch, the ring, the medals, and even some of Somin's jewelry. It was enough to buy passage to Nexus 7 and pay the tournament registration. Dr. Kim Hae-jin met them at the hospital that afternoon. She was a good doctor who had been treating Somin for free. She looked tired and sad. I heard what you're planning, she said to Daeho. Word travels fast. It's a small community. Down here, people talk. She looked at Somin. How are you feeling today? The same, maybe a little worse. Dr. Kim nodded. She had expected that. I'm going to be honest with you both. Somin has maybe 3 months, maybe less. After that, even the alien treatment won't help. 3 months, Daeho said. That's enough. Time, if you survive, Dr. Kim said, and if you win. Those are 2 very big ifs. I know. Dr. Kim gave him a small medical kit. This has some basic supplies. It's painkillers, bandages, stimulants. It's not much, but it might help. Thank you. Bring my patient her brother back, Dr. Kim said. She needs you more than she needs the treatment. That night, Dae-ho packed a small bag. He didn't have much to take. Some clothes, the medical kit, and a small picture of his family. He sat on So-min's bed and held her hand. "I'll be back in a month," he said. "Promise me something," So-min said. "If things go bad, if you can't win, promise me you'll come home. Don't die for me. I can't live with that." "I promise I'll come home," Dae-ho said. But he didn't promise he would come home alive. That was a promise he couldn't make. The next morning, Jin-woo drove him to the spaceport. The ship to Nexus 7 was old and dirty. Most of the passengers looked like criminals or desperate people. Dae-ho fit right in as the ship lifted off from Earth. Dae-ho looked out the window at the planet getting smaller below him. Somewhere down there, his sister was waiting for him to save her life. He had never felt the weight of responsibility so heavy on his shoulders. The ship jumped to hyperspace, and Earth disappeared. There was no going back now. The space station Nexus 7 was bigger than any building Dae-ho had ever seen. It spun slowly in the darkness of space, covered in lights that made it look like a giant jewel. Ships from dozens of different worlds came and went like busy insects. Around a hive, Dae-ho's transport ship docked at one of the lower levels. The moment he stepped off the ship, he knew he was in a different world. The air smelled strange, full of unfamiliar scents from alien worlds. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, making him feel like he might float away. Creatures he had never seen before walked through the corridors. Some looked almost human, but with different colored skin or extra arms. Others were so strange that his mind had trouble understanding what he was looking at. A tall, thin being with blue skin and 4 eyes passed by him. It wore expensive clothes and jewelry that sparkled in the artificial light. "Welcome to Nexus 7, said a voice behind him. Dae-ho turned around and saw another human. The man was about his age, with short black hair and scars on his face. "First time here?" "Yes," Dae-ho said. "How did you know? You have that look? Like you just saw a ghost." The man smiled. "I'm Yu Taezong. I'm here for the tournament too. Lee Dae-ho." They shook hands. "You've been here before?" "3 times. Never won, obviously, or I wouldn't be back." Taesong picked up his bag. "Come on, I'll show you where we're staying. The human quarters are not fancy, but they're clean." They walked through corridors filled with more aliens than Dae-ho could count. Some were small and quick, darting between the larger beings like mice. Others were huge, their heavy footsteps making the metal floor shake. Dae-ho saw one creature that looked like a walking tree, with bark for skin and leaves growing from its head. "How many different species are here?" Dae-ho asked. "Maybe 50? Could be more?" "New ones show up every tournament." Taesong stopped at a door marked with human writing. "This is us. Home sweet home." The human quarters were small and basic. There were 20 beds in one room, 10 on each side. Most of them were empty. Only 5 other humans were there, all men, all with the same desperate look in their eyes. "Not many humans enter the tournament," Taesung explained. "Most people think we're too weak, too slow, too stupid." "Are they right?" Dae-ho asked. "Sometimes, but not always. Humans have something most aliens don't." "What's that?" "We're crazy. Enough to try anything." Dae-ho put his bag on an empty bed. The other humans nodded at him, but didn't talk much. They all looked nervous and scared. Dae-ho understood why. Tomorrow the tournament would begin. "What's the schedule?" Dae-ho asked. "First round starts tomorrow. 64 fighters enter. 32 fights. Only 32 survive." Taesung sat on his bed. "Second round is the day after. Then third round. Then semifinals. Then the final fight. 5 days total. If you live that long, That evening, all the fighters were called to the main arena for registration. Daeho had never seen anything like it. The arena was enormous, big enough to hold 50,000 spectators. The fighting area in the center was surrounded by energy barriers that glowed blue in the dark. Creatures from across the galaxy filled the stands. They had come to watch other beings fight and die for their entertainment. The noise was incredible. Voices, roars, and sounds that Daeho couldn't identify mixed together into a wall of sound. Fighters, attention! The voice came from everywhere, at once amplified by speakers throughout the arena. A large alien with gray skin and no hair stood at the center of the fighting area. "I am Tournament Master Krex. You are here to fight for glory and riches. Most of you will die. Accept this truth now or leave." None of the fighters moved. Good. The rules are simple. You fight until your opponent cannot continue. You may use any weapons you can find in the arena. You may use any natural abilities you possess. There is only one rule: no outside help. Break this rule and you will be executed immediately. Krex pointed to a raised platform at one end of the arena. On it sat what looked like a throne made of crystal. Someone was sitting on the throne, but they were covered in a dark robe. Energy shackles glowed around their wrists and ankles. The winner of this tournament will receive 100 million credits and ownership of that slave. She is the last of her kind, worth more than most planets. She will serve the winner for the rest of her life. Daeho stared at the figure on the throne. Something about the way she sat, perfectly still and straight, made him think she was listening to every word. Even though he couldn't see her face, he felt like she was watching him. Tomorrow at dawn, the first round begins. Tonight, you may rest, pray, or make peace with your gods. Most of you will be dead by sunset tomorrow. The fighters were dismissed. Daeho walked back to the human quarters with Taesung and the others. Nobody talked much. They were all thinking about the morning. "Tell me about the other species," Daeho said when they were back in their room. "What should I expect?" Taesung lay down on his bed and stared at the ceiling. "The Vorthons are the worst. Big, strong, natural armor. They're like walking tanks. The Zephyrians are fast and have poison in their claws. The Kronits can change their body shape, so you never know what you're really fighting." "What about humans? What are we good at?" "We're adaptable. We can think on our feet. Most aliens have one fighting style. They stick to it no matter what. We can change our strategy in the middle of a fight. That's it. That's everything." In a tournament like this, being unpredictable is better than being strong. Daeho couldn't sleep that night. He kept thinking about Somin, lying in her bed back on Earth. She was getting weaker every day. The doctors said she had 3 months. But Daeho knew it might be less. He had to win this tournament. There was no other choice. At dawn, the arena filled with spectators again. The energy barriers came alive, humming with power. Tournament Master Krex stood in the center of the fighting area. "Let the first round begin," he announced. The first fight was between a Vorthon and a creature that looked like a giant insect. The Vorthon was twice the size of a human, with thick gray skin that looked like stone. The insect creature was fast, darting around the arena with wings that buzzed loudly. The fight lasted 3 minutes. The Vorthon caught the insect creature with one massive hand and crushed it. Green blood splattered across the arena floor. Crowd cheered. Daeho watched 5 more fights before his name was called. His opponent was a Vorthon warrior named Gorth. The crowd laughed when they saw the human walk into the arena. Some of them were taking bets on how long he would survive. Gorth was even bigger than the other Vorthon. He carried a massive club made of metal and bone. His skin was covered in scars from old fights. He looked at Daeho like he was looking at a small insect. Human Gorth said in broken English, You should have stayed home. This place is for real warriors. Maybe, Deho said. But I'm here now. The energy barrier sealed them in. There was no way out except victory or death. Gorth charged forward, swinging his club in a wide arc. Deho rolled to the side. The club hit the arena floor hard enough to crack the metal. Gorth was strong, but he was also slow. Deho had studied the previous fights carefully. Warthans always fought the same way. They used their strength and their armor to overpower opponents. They didn't expect anyone to be faster or smarter than them. Gorth swung again. Deho ducked under the club and punched the Vorthon in the knee. His fist felt like it hit a stone wall, but Gorth stumbled slightly. The crowd was surprised. They hadn't expected the human to land a hit. For 10 minutes, Deho dodged and struck. He couldn't hurt Gorth seriously, but he was making the big alien tired. Gorth was breathing hard now, and his swings were getting slower. The arena had weapons scattered around it. Deho spotted a piece of broken metal, sharp as a knife. He rolled toward it as Gorth charged again. This time, instead of dodging away, Deho rolled between the Vorthan's legs and slashed at the back of his knee with the metal shard. Gorth roared in pain and fell to one knee. His armor was strong, but the joints were weaker. Deho had found the weak spot. The crowd was silent now. They hadn't expected this. Deho jumped onto Gorth's back and wrapped his arm around the Vorthan's thick neck. He pressed the sharp metal against Gorth's throat. "Yield," Deho said. For a moment, Gorth didn't move. Then he dropped his club. "I yield." The crowd exploded into noise. Some cheered, some booed. They couldn't believe a human had defeated a Vorthon warrior. Tournament Master Krex's voice echoed through the arena. Winner, Lee Deho of Earth. As Deho walked out of the arena, he looked up at the crystal throne. The robed figure was still there, but now she was leaning forward slightly. For just a moment, he thought he saw her face in the shadow of her hood. She was beautiful, with silver skin and eyes that seemed to glow in the dark. Then she sat back, and the moment was gone. But Deho felt like something had changed. She had been watching him fight, and somehow he knew she was interested in more than just the outcome. That night, as the other humans celebrated his victory, Deho stared up at the ceiling and thought about tomorrow. The first round was over, but the real fighting was just beginning. And somewhere in this station, a mysterious prisoner was waiting to see what would happen next. He had won his first fight, but the tournament was far from over. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opponents, and new dangers. But for the first time since leaving Earth, Deho felt like he might actually have a chance to win. For so mean, he would fight through anything, even if it killed him. Deho sat in his small room, cleaning his wounds from the semi-final fight. His left arm was covered in purple bruises. 3 of his ribs hurt when he breathed. But he was alive, and that was more than his opponent could say. The fight had been brutal. The alien warrior had been twice his size, with natural armor covering most of its body. Deho had won by being smarter, not stronger. He had used the arena's broken equipment to create a trap. It had worked, but barely. Someone knocked on his door. Deho grabbed a knife from his bag and walked to the door slowly. "Who is it?" "He asked a friend," said a voice. It was soft and musical, like nothing he had heard before. "Please, I need to talk to you." Deho opened the door carefully. In the hallway stood a figure in a dark cloak. The person was tall and thin, with the hood pulled up to hide their face. "What do you want?" Deho asked. "To help you win tomorrow night," the figure said. "May I come in?" Deho stepped back and let the stranger enter. The person walked to the center of the room and pulled back the hood. Deho's mouth fell open. The alien was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Her skin was pale blue and seemed to glow with its own light. Her hair was long and silver, and her eyes were purple like deep space. She was clearly not human, but she looked more human than any alien Deho had seen on the station. "My name is Erilyn," she said. "I am your prize if you win tomorrow. You're the alien artifact they talked about. I am not an artifact. I am a person, like you." Her voice was sad and angry at the same time. Deho put down his knife. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. Most people here do not think of me as a person. To them, I am just a thing to be owned." She sat down in the room's only chair. "You are different. I have watched your fights. Why are you here? Isn't this dangerous for you?" "Everything is dangerous for me. I have been a prisoner for many years. Tomorrow, someone will win me like a trophy. I wanted to meet the human who might be my new owner." "I don't want to own anyone," Deho said. "I just need the money." Erilyn looked at him with those strange purple eyes. "You fight for your sister." Deho stepped back. "How do you know about my sister?" "I can read thoughts sometimes. Not always, but when people have strong emotions, I can feel them. Your love for your sister burns like a bright fire. You're telepathic. Yes, it is one of my people's gifts." She stood up and walked to the small window. Outside, the arena was being prepared for tomorrow's final fight. My people had many gifts. We could read minds, heal with our touch, and build technology that seemed like magic to other species. What happened to them? They are gone. All of them. I am the last. The sadness in her voice made Deho's chest hurt. He thought about losing his parents and how much that had hurt. He could not imagine being the last human alive. "What was your species called?" "The Ethereals. We ruled a great empire once. We had 1,000 worlds and helped other species reach the stars. But we were too trusting. We thought all intelligent life was good at heart. What happened? War, betrayal. Other species wanted our technology, but not our wisdom. They destroyed our worlds one by one. In the end, only a few of us escaped. Then there were fewer than just me." Erilyn touched the window with her hand. The glass seemed to glow where she touched it. "How long have you been a prisoner?" Deho asked. 30 years. I was just a child when they captured me, a princess of my people, but that means nothing now. I have been passed from owner to owner, like a valuable object. That's horrible." "Yes, but tomorrow it might end. Or it might begin again with a new owner." She turned to look at him. "What will you do with me if you win?" Deho didn't know how to answer that question. He had never thought about what he would do with the alien artifact. He had only thought about the money. "I don't know," he said honestly. "At least you are honest. Most humans would lie and say they would free me. Why wouldn't I free you? Because I am worth more than the prize money. Much more. My DNA carries the genetic codes of my people. My mind holds the knowledge of technologies that could change the galaxy. Whoever owns me could become the most powerful person in known space." Deho sat down on his small bed. "I just want to save my sister. I know. That is why I came to you tonight." Erilyn sat down next to him. "I want to help you win tomorrow." "How?" "Your opponent is Vexstar the Destroyer. He has won 47 fights without losing. He is fast, strong, and cruel. But he has weaknesses." "What kind of weaknesses?" "His left knee was injured in a fight 2 years ago. It never healed properly. If you can target that spot, you can slow him down. Also, he is overconfident. He believes humans are weak and stupid. He will not expect you to have a real strategy." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you are the only fighter left who has shown any honor. The others would use me and throw me away when they were done. You fight for love, not for glory or power. How do you know I won't just use you two? I don't, but I am willing to take the chance. She stood up and walked to the door. There is something else you should know about tomorrow's fight. What? The tournament is not just about winning prize money. There are powerful people watching who want to own me. If you win, they will try to take me from you. You will need to be ready for that. What do you mean? The Zephyrian cartel controls most of the illegal trade in this sector. They've been trying to buy me for years. If you defeat Vexstar, they will not let you just walk away with me. Deho felt a cold fear in his stomach. So even if I win the fight, I still have to fight them. Yes, but I can help with that too. My people's technology is not just in my DNA. I know things. I can do things. If you win tomorrow, I will help you escape this place. Why would you do that for me? Because for the first time in 30 years, I have hope. You are not like the others. You see me as a person, not a thing. That is more than anyone has given me in a very long time. She put her hood back up and opened the door. Wait, Deho said. If I win tomorrow, if we escape, what then? What do you want from me? Erilyn paused in the doorway. I want what every living being wants. I want to be free. I want to make my own choices. I want to honor the memory of my people by using their knowledge to help others, not to make someone rich and powerful. And if I promise to set you free, then I will help you save your sister. My people's medical knowledge is far beyond what your doctors know. I can cure her disease easily. Deho's heart began to beat faster. You can cure her. The genetic illness she has is simple to fix with the right knowledge. I have that knowledge, so I don't even need the prize money. You will still need some money to live, to take care of her. But you will not need 50 million credits. A few thousand would be enough for the materials I need. Deho felt like crying. All this time, he had thought he needed to win 100 million credits. Now this alien princess was telling him she could cure Somin for almost nothing. Why? Didn't you tell me this at the beginning? Because you needed to hear the rest first. You needed to understand what I am, what I have been through, what I can offer. Now you can make a real choice. What choice? Tomorrow, you can fight just to win the money and the prize. Or you can fight to save two people, your sister and me. The first choice might get you killed by the cartel. The second choice, definitely. Well, she walked into the hallway and turned back one more time. Think about it tonight. Tomorrow, when you step into that arena, you will be fighting for more than money. You will be fighting for the future. The door closed and Deho was alone. He sat on his bed and put his head in his hands. Everything had changed. The simple plan to win money and save his sister had become something much bigger and much more dangerous. But for the first time since leaving Earth, he felt hope. Real hope. Not just that he might win enough money to help Somin, but that he might actually be able to cure her. And maybe, just maybe, he could do something good for someone else too. He looked at the small picture of his family that he carried with him. His parents were dead, but their memory lived on in him and Somin. Tomorrow, he would fight not just for his sister's life, but for the chance to help the last survivor of an entire species. The stakes had never been higher. But neither had the potential reward. Deho lay down on his bed and tried to sleep. Tomorrow would be the most important day of his life. He needed to be ready. The arena was packed with thousands of aliens from dozens of different species. The noise was incredible. They were all here to watch the final fight of the tournament. Deho had never seen so many different kinds of beings in one place. He stood in the waiting area under the arena floor. His hands were shaking, but not from fear. He was thinking about everything Erilyn had told him. In a few minutes, he would fight Vexstar, the Destroyer. If he won, he would face an even bigger challenge, escaping from the Zephyrian cartel. Jinwoo stood next to him, looking nervous. His friend had been asking questions all morning about why Daeho seemed different today. "You're acting strange," Jinwoo said. "What happened last night?" "I learned some things," Daeho said. "Important things." "What kinds of things?" Before Daeho could answer, Tournament Master Krex walked over to them. The alien looked like a giant lizard wearing expensive clothes. His yellow eyes were cold and calculating. "Human fighter," Krex said. "Are you ready for your final battle?" "Yes," Daeho said. "Good. You have surprised many people by making it this far. No one expected a human to reach the finals." Krex smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Of course, no one expects you to win." "Tonight either. We'll see," Daeho said. "Indeed we will." Krex turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and human. After the fight, win or lose, you will meet with some very important people. They have business to discuss with you." "Kana." "Business?" "The kind that could make you very rich, or very dead. Depending on how cooperative you are." Krex walked away, laughing to himself. Jinwoo grabbed Daeho's arm. "What was that about?" Jinwoo asked. "The cartel. They want the prize." "What prize?" "The money." "No. The alien artifact. Her name is Erilyn, and she's not an artifact. She's a person." Jinwoo stared at him. "You talked to her last night. She told me everything. About her people, about why she's so valuable, about what the cartel wants to do with her, and I'm going to stop them." The sound of horns filled the air. It was time for the final fight. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer's voice boomed through the arena. "Tonight, we have a most unusual final battle. In the red corner, we have Vexstar, the Destroyer, winner of 47 consecutive fights. Terror of the Outer Rim." The crowd roared as a massive alien walked into the arena. Vexstar was 8 feet tall and covered in natural armor. His arms were as thick as tree trunks, and his hands ended in razor-sharp claws. He moved like a predator, slow and confident. And in the blue corner, the announcer continued, "We have the human fighter, Lee Daeho, the underdog who has shocked everyone by reaching the finals." Daeho walked into the arena. Compared to his opponent, he looked tiny. The crowd made different sounds now. Some were laughing, others were booing. Very few thought he had any chance of winning. Daeho looked up at the VIP section where the most important spectators sat. He could see Erilyn there, still in chains, surrounded by guards. Even from this distance, he could feel her watching. Him, the referee, another alien species Daeho didn't recognize, stood between the two fighters. "This fight continues until one fighter cannot continue," the referee said. "No weapons except natural ones. No outside help. Begin when you hear the bell." Daeho took a deep breath and tried to remember everything Erilyn had told him about. Vexstar's weaknesses, the left knee, the overconfidence. He would need to use both. The bell rang. Vexstar charged at him immediately, moving faster than something that big should be able to move. His claws slashed through the air where Daeho's head had been a second before. Daeho rolled to the side and came up running. He needed to stay away from those claws and find his opening. "Stand still, little human," Vexstar roared. "I want to finish this quickly." The alien charged again. This time, Daeho didn't dodge completely. He let Vexstar get close, then dropped low and kicked hard at the left knee Erilyn had told him about. Vexstar stumbled, but didn't fall. He swung his massive fist down at Daeho, who barely rolled away in time. The fist hit the arena floor so hard it cracked the metal. "Lucky shot," Vexstar said, but Daeho could see he was favoring that leg now. For the next 10 minutes, they danced. Around the arena, Vexstar was stronger and had natural weapons, but Daeho was faster and smarter. Every time the alien charged, Daeho would dodge and strike at the weak knee. The crowd was getting excited now. They had expected a quick, brutal fight. Instead, they were seeing a real battle of skill and strategy. Vexstar was getting frustrated. His attacks were becoming wilder and less controlled. Daeho could see sweat running down the alien's face. "You cannot run forever, human," Vexstar shouted. "I'm not running," Daeho said. "I'm winning." He was right. The damaged knee was slowing Vexstar down. The alien was breathing hard and couldn't move as quickly as before. Daeho decided it was time to end the fight. He let Vexstar charge at him one more time. At the last second, he dropped to the ground and swept both legs at the damaged knee. This time Vexstar went down hard. The alien tried to get up, but his leg wouldn't support his weight. Daeho didn't hesitate. He jumped on Vexstar's back and wrapped his arms around the alien's thick neck. It was like trying to choke a tree, but he held on with all his strength. Vexstar clawed at him, leaving deep cuts on his arms and back. But Daeho didn't let go. He squeezed harder, cutting off the alien's air supply. After what felt like forever, Vexstar stopped struggling. The alien's body went limp. The referee checked him and raised his hand. "The winner?" the announcer shouted. "The human, Lee Daeho." The crowd went crazy. Half of them were cheering, and half were angry about losing their bets. Daeho stood in the center of the arena, covered in blood and barely able to stand. But he had won. Medical staff ran into the arena to check on both fighters. Vexstar was unconscious, but alive. Daeho waved them away. His injuries were painful, but not life-threatening. "Congratulations, human," Tournament Master Krex said as he entered the arena. "You have won the tournament. The prize money will be transferred to your account immediately." "And the other prize?" Daeho asked. "Ah, yes, the alien artifact. She will be delivered to your ship tomorrow morning. I want to see her now." "That is not how things work here," Krex said. His voice was colder now. "You will wait until tomorrow. Tonight, you will celebrate with some very important people who want to meet you." 3 large aliens in expensive suits walked into the arena. They moved like soldiers, not businessmen. Daeho knew immediately that these were the cartel members Erlen had warned him about. "Mr. Lee," one of them said. His voice was smooth, but dangerous. "My name is Vex. I represent some people who are very interested in your prize." "It's not for sale," Daeho said. "Everything is for sale, human. The question is price." I said no. Vex smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Perhaps we should discuss this in private, away from all these people." Jinwoo moved closer to Daeho. His friend's hand was resting on the handle of a knife hidden under his jacket. "I think we'll stay here," Daeho said. "I don't think you understand," Vex said. "This isn't a request. You will come with us. Now." More cartel soldiers appeared. Around the arena, they were trying to look casual, but Daeho could see they were surrounding him and Jinwoo. "What if I refuse?" Daeho asked. "Then you will have an accident." Very sad. The human who won the tournament killed by a gas leak in his room. "Oh, these things happen." Daeho looked up at the VIP section again. Erlen was watching him. Even from this distance, he could see the fear in her purple eyes. She knew what was happening. "How much are you offering?" Daeho asked. Vex's smile got wider. "Now you're being smart. We'll give you 50 million credits. That's half the prize money, but you get to keep your life. Fair trade." "Let me think about it." "There's nothing to think about. You have 10 seconds to decide." Daeho looked at Jinwoo. His friend gave him a small nod. They had been soldiers together. They both knew how to fight when the odds were bad. "Okay," Daeho said. "I'll do it." "Excellent choice." But first, I want to see the merchandise. Make sure it's worth 50 million credits. Vex hesitated. That's not necessary. It is for me. I don't buy anything without seeing it first. After a moment, Vex nodded. Fine, but make it quick. They walked up to the VIP section where Erilyn was being held. She was sitting in a chair, her hands and feet bound with energy chains that glowed blue. The guards around her looked bored. There, Vex said. As you can see, the artifact is in perfect condition. Deho walked closer to Erilyn. Their eyes met, and he saw her give him the tiniest nod. She was ready. She doesn't look like much, Deho said. How do I know she's really worth all this money? Trust me, human. This creature has abilities you cannot imagine. Show me. Vex looked annoyed, but he gestured to one of Erilyn's guards. Remove one of the restraints. Let her demonstrate. The guard unlocked the chain around Erilyn's right hand. The moment she was free, everything changed. Erilyn touched the remaining chains, and they dissolved like smoke. She stood up and placed her hand on the nearest guard's forehead. The alien's eyes rolled back, and he collapsed. Stop her! Vex shouted, but it was too late. Erilyn raised her free hand, and a wave of blue energy swept across the VIP section. Every alien it touched fell unconscious immediately. Deho grabbed Jinwoo's arm. Run. The three of them ran toward the exit as chaos erupted throughout the arena. Alarms were going off, and security forces were pouring in from every direction. This way, Erilyn shouted, leading them down a corridor Deho had never seen before. How do you know where you're going? Jinwoo asked. I've been planning this escape for 30 years, she said. I know every passage on the station. Behind them, they could hear Vex screaming orders to his men. The hunt had begun. The corridors of Nexus 7 were filled with the sound of running feet and shouting voices. Security alarms blared from every speaker. Red lights flashed on the walls, making everything look like a nightmare. Ho, Jinwoo, and Erilyn ran through passages that most people on the station had never seen. These were the old maintenance tunnels that workers used to move between sections without being noticed. How much further? Deho asked. His wounds from the fight were starting to hurt badly. Not far, Erilyn said. There's a docking bay on the lower level. Small ships dock there. We can steal one. You know how to fly a spaceship? Jinwoo asked. My people were explorers before we became rulers. Every child learned to pilot ships before they could walk properly. Behind them, they could hear the sound of heavy boots. The cartel soldiers were getting closer. There. Vex's voice echoed through the tunnels. They went this way. Erilyn led them down a narrow ladder into a darker section of the station. Here, the air smelled like oil and metal. Pipes ran along the walls, carrying water and power to the upper levels. Through here, she said, opening a hidden door that looked like part of the wall. They found themselves in a small docking bay. 3 ships were parked there, all of them old but well maintained. Erilyn ran to the smallest one and placed her hand on a panel next to the door. The panel glowed blue under her touch, and the ship's door opened. How did you do that? Deho asked. All technology responds to my people's touch. We built most of the systems that other species use today. She climbed into the ship. Quickly, they'll find us soon. Deho and Jinwoo followed her inside. The ship was small but clean. It had seats for 4 people and looked fast. Erilyn sat in the pilot's chair and began touching controls. The ship's engines came to life with a quiet hum. "Attention, stolen vessel," came a voice over the ship's radio. "You are ordered to return to the docking bay immediately." Too late for that, Erilyn said. She pressed more buttons, and the ship lifted off the ground. The docking bay doors were closing, trying to trap them inside. But Erilyn was faster. She flew the ship through the gap with inches to spare. Now what? Jinwoo asked. The whole station knows we're out here. Now we run, Erilyn said, and hope they don't have any fast ships. As if she had spoken too soon, 3 larger ships appeared behind them. They were sleek and black, clearly built for fighting. Cartel ships, Erilyn said. They're faster than us, but not as smart. She flew the ship into the asteroid field that surrounded Nexus 7. The space rocks were huge, some of them bigger than buildings. It was a dangerous place to fly, but it would hide them from their pursuers. This is crazy, Jinwoo said as a massive asteroid passed by their window. Crazy is what humans do best, Daeho said. Erilyn smiled at that. It was the first time he had seen her look happy. Yes, I'm beginning to understand that about your species. The cartel ships followed them into the asteroid field, but they were having trouble. The pilots were good, but they were used to fighting in open space. The asteroids were slowing them down. There's a jump point just past this field, Erilyn said. If we can reach it, we can escape to hyperspace. What about Earth? Daeho asked. I need to get back to my sister. That's where we're going. But first, we need to lose our friends. Back there, one of the cartel ships got too close to a spinning asteroid. The rock clipped the ship's wing, sending it tumbling into another asteroid. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. 2 left, Jinwoo said. The remaining cartel ships were being more careful now, but they were also falling behind. Erilyn's flying was incredible. She moved the ship through the asteroid field like she had been born to do it. There, she said, pointing ahead. The jump point. Space in front of them began to shimmer and bend. It looked like looking through water. That was the entry to hyperspace. Stolen ship, this is your last warning, came Nex's voice over the radio. Return the artifact, or we will destroy you. Tell him something for me, Daeho said. Erilyn pressed the radio button. This is Princess Erilyn of the Ethereal Empire. I am not an artifact. I am not property. And I choose to go with the humans. There was silence on the radio for a moment. Then Nex's angry voice. You will regret this decision, human. The cartel has a long memory. So do I, Daeho replied. Then they flew into the jump point and disappeared. The trip to Earth took 3 days. During that time, Daeho learned more about Erilyn and her people. She told him about their great empire, their beautiful cities, and their advanced science. She also told him about the war that destroyed everything she had ever known. Why did you trust me? Daeho asked on the 2nd day. You could have escaped any time during those 30 years. Why wait for me? I tried to escape many times, she said, but I always got caught. I realized I needed help from someone who is not just strong, but also good. Someone who would see me as a person, not a prize. How did you know I was different? When you won your first fight, you helped your opponent get medical attention. When you won your second fight, you refused to kill him when the crowd demanded it. You fight to protect, not to destroy. That told me everything I needed to know about your character. Jinwoo had been quiet during most of the trip, but now he spoke up. What will you do when we get to Earth? You can't hide forever. I don't plan to hide, Erilyn said. I plan to help. Your species is young, but full of potential. With the right guidance, humans could become one of the great powers in the galaxy. You want to share your technology with us? Daeho asked. Some of it, carefully. Technology without wisdom is dangerous. But your people have something mine lost, the ability to adapt, to survive against impossible odds. Together, we could build something new. When they reached Earth, Daeho directed Erilyn to land near the hospital where his sister was being treated. It was late at night, and there were few people around. Dr. Kim was working the night shift. She looked shocked when Daeho walked into Somin's room with 2 strangers. You're back, she said. Did you win? Yes and no, Daeho said. I won something. Better than money. He introduced Erilyn to the doctor and explained what she could do. Dr. Kim was suspicious at first. But when Erilyn began describing Salmon's illness in perfect detail without examining her, the doctor became a believer. This is impossible, Dr. Kim said. The scans show that her genetic structure is completely normal now. The disease is just ... gone. Salmon was awake and sitting up in bed. Our color had returned, and she looked stronger than she had in months. How do you feel, Daeho? Asked his sister. Like I could run a marathon, Salmon said. What did she do to me? I corrected the genetic errors that were causing your illness, Erilyn explained. It was simple. Really? Like fixing broken code in a computer program. Salmin hugged her brother tightly. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, Daeho said, looking at Erilyn. All of us. 6 months later, Daeho stood in the offices of the Earth's Defense Force. He wore the uniform of a special ambassador, a new position created just for him. His job was to help other species understand humanity and to help humans understand the galaxy. Erilyn had a laboratory in the same building. She was working with human scientists to develop new medical treatments and technologies. She shared her knowledge slowly and carefully, making sure it would be used to help people, not to hurt them, so Min was healthy and strong. She had started studying xenobiology at the university, learning about alien life forms. She wanted to become a doctor who could treat both humans and aliens. Jinwoo had become Daeho's assistant and head of security. He liked to joke that his job was to keep his friend out of trouble. But it was harder than it sounded. The Galactic Federation had taken notice of Earth after news of the tournament spread. They were interested in the humans who had shown such honor and courage. Several alien species had requested formal diplomatic relations with Earth. The Zephyrian cartel had tried to cause trouble a few times, but they had learned to be careful. Erilyn's knowledge had helped Earth build better defenses. And the Federation was now protecting Earth as a developing world. One evening, Daeho and Erilyn stood on the roof of their building looking up at the stars. The city of Neo-Sol spread out below them, but now it felt different. It felt like home, but also like the beginning of something bigger. Do you ever miss your old life? Daeho asked. Before the war, before the slavery. Every day, Erilyn said. But I've learned that you can't live in the past. You have to build something new with what you have now. What do you think will happen next? I think your sister will become a great doctor. I think Jinwoo will keep complaining about his job, but never quit. I think Earth will become an important world in the galaxy. And us? What happens to us? Erilyn smiled. I think we have a lot of work to do. There are other species out there who need help. Other injustices to fix. The galaxy is a big place, and most of it is not very fair. Sounds dangerous. Everything worthwhile is dangerous. But that's what makes life interesting. A shooting star crossed the sky above them. Daeho made a wish, the same one he had been making for months. He wished for his sister to stay healthy, for his friends to be safe, and for the chance to keep helping people. As the star disappeared, he realized that his wish had already come true. He had started this journey trying to save one person. Now he was part of something that could help save millions. The galaxy was a dangerous place, full of people who wanted to use others for their own gain. But it was also full of people who wanted to help, who wanted to make things better. Daeho had learned that sometimes the best way to save the people you love is to help strangers. Sometimes the greatest prize isn't money or power, but friendship and the chance to do something good. He looked at Erilyn, the last princess of a lost empire who had become Earth's greatest ally. She had taught him that freedom was worth fighting for. That knowledge should be shared, and that hope could survive even the darkest times. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new dangers, and new opportunities to help people. But tonight, for the first time in years, Daeho felt at peace. His sister was safe. His friend was happy. And somewhere in the galaxy, other people who needed help would find it, because a desperate human had chosen to fight for more than just money. The future was full of possibilities, and Daeho was ready for all of them.